Hello, I'm Rod Duncan. I'm the author of the books of the Fall of the Gaslit Empire series. The first of those was The Bullet Catcher's Daughter, which was out last year in 2014, and the next one will be Unseemly Science, which comes out in May this year, so quite soon now. And Unseemly Science I finished writing some time ago, but there came back from the publishers, Angry Robot Books, a few comments about them, things that they asked me to consider changing or modifying very slightly. This is the kind of dialogue that's very helpful for most authors. I certainly appreciate it, which is when you get those comments from someone who's not been intimately connected with the writing process, reads the whole thing at the end and can give you a kind of overview. It's very hard for yourself as the writer to have. So I always really value these kinds of comments. And one of the comments particularly was of interest, which referred to a chapter towards the middle of the book, where my excellent editor said that the pace had slackened off too much with respect to the previous chapters. Now, the whole book is much more pacey than The Bullet Catcher's Daughter, but I did want a kind of slower paced section towards the middle to give the protagonist, Elizabeth, a chance to think about things a little bit, to consider where she's come from and where she's going to. And that kind of helps, I think, to underline the magnitude of the journey still to go. But on reading the book, rereading it, in the light of my editor's comments, I did agree that something was slightly amiss there. The pace had slackened off too much, and also I think the tone was a little bit too light with respect to what had gone before. So I set about changing it, and I spent a couple of weeks reworking that to layer in another story thread, which peps up the pace a little bit, but more importantly it makes the mood more sombre and more menacing. And having now looked through it again, the resultant book, I'm very happy that I received that feedback, because I think it's improved it considerably. So with that out of the way now, and it's likely I won't have to do any more to that, with that out of the way, I'm back to writing the third in the series, which is called The Custodian of Marvels. I've already been writing this for a little while, but I'm now sort of back into it. Incidentally, I should say that when I'm writing, quite often I use dictation software, and today, because my throat's very croaky, as you'll probably hear, the dictation software won't recognise anything I'm saying, so I'm having to find other work to do, editing work, which I do via the keyboard. So the Custodian of Marvels, I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil the surprise, obviously, and also because it is still in flux. I'm still writing it, so things may change still from the ideas I have now. But I can tell you, in bringing the series to 3 books, to a trilogy, it will not see the final fall of the Gaslit Empire. So there is still story to go beyond that. But what it will do is round up a number of the themes and story arcs that have been set running in the previous 2 books. Each of the books you can read on its own, but they do make a greater arc when you see them all together. In this book, Elizabeth is going to have to steal something. I will tell you that. And as such, she's going to have to learn some new skills, and she's going to have to learn about locks. Now, locks are something that I find particularly fascinating. I think I got my interest from my father, who was also very interested in all kinds of technology, but he was particularly interested in locks. And he had a collection of them, locks that he could open up and show you the insides and the workings of. And he used to, from time to time, show me, or draw diagrams of how they worked, and from time to time he'd show me how to pick them. And so this is something that's actually great fun, and if you haven't had a go at picking locks, within legal bounds I must add, then why not have a go? Get a padlock. There are lots of YouTube videos which will give you tutorials on how to do it. It's very, very satisfying to hear the click as the lock finally opens up for you. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of lock picking just to remind myself what it feels like, and we will see. Maybe in another video I can actually bring along a lock and show you my very poor lock picking techniques, but to share the enjoyment. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in another one in the future.